Hello and welcome to Jessie James Beads. My name is Jem and today I'm going to show you how to utilise headpins and ear wires to create the world's easiest earrings. Join me down at the board and I'll show you what it is we're going to create together. So I have just delved into my beautiful box of Jessie James beads that have been previously unleashed. There's a whole collection and I managed to find a couple that were the same. So I'm going to show you how to use a headpin and an earring finding correctly to make nice jewellery that will last for a very long time and using the most basic of techniques. So this headpin is a medium length. You can get ones that are very, very long. You can get ones, I'll just show you an example actually, very, very fine bendy ones. These are great for if you're using teeny tiny beads with very small drill apertures. But today I'm working with a standard headpin which has got a ball end to it. If you find that the ball headpin slips through the centre of your bead, let me find a large bead to demonstrate. If this is an issue, because the ball is obviously much, much smaller than the aperture in your bead, what you might want to do is find yourself a little spacer to sit down at the bottom before you add one of those larger bead into position. So that's always an option for you, but as it happens today I'm using a glass pearl, a fabulous rhinestone encrusted fuchsia bead and another glass pearl. So they are in the order that I want them to dangle, with the ball of the ball headpin down at the base. We're going to use that old favourite now, the wrapped loop. I'm going to pop my pliers in at the top and I'm just using the very, very tip of my pliers to hold the wire steady whilst I draw a right angle bend around. If you feel the need to, you can pop a little mark using a permanent marker pen on the end of your pliers so that you'll always have the same distance between the end of the bead and the beginning of your angle. We're then going to use the round nose pliers, and as you get more proficient with your making of wrapped loops, you may be able to do this in one manoeuvre rather than using the two-step method that I usually teach. And you can even start the wrapping whilst holding the whole assembly in those round nose pliers. What can happen though is that when you're newer to wire you can end up twisting the loop itself. So that's why I teach the 2 or 3 step method to creating the perfect wrapped loop. I'm just going to make sure that that's nice and neat and tidy. Now, because I'm working with a glass pearl or a faux pearl, you will need to be incredibly careful when you're trimming the tail end of the wire away so that you don't scratch the surface, and the same applies for when you just take the very end of that wire down. You'll notice I'm using the rounded size of my bent chain nose pliers against the bead. There's much less chance of me scratching or damaging the bead. Now, to open and close your standard earring finding, you have an open loop down at the base. Now the open loop can be pre-strengthened with 1 or 2 squishes using the flat sides of your flat pliers. What I'm then going to do is open this like a jump ring. So I'm going to open it as if I'm undoing the key in a door. So I'm taking the jump ring like this, up and away, maintaining that circular form rather than stretching the loop shape out. I'm then going to pop my earring drop finding into position and close that loop back up in exactly the same fashion. I think you'll agree it takes mere moments to make earrings from my previously unleashed Jessie James beads.